Yo, how's it guys? So, a question has been popping up over time on some of my videos. And this question is what popping setup I think is best for popping for Ulua. So, I decided to make a video on this, and hopefully this video helps those people get the information they need in choosing a popping setup best for them. All the information I will be sharing with all of you, it's all from my experience. I'm not saying what gear or this gear is better than that or this. Just remember, it's all personal preference at the end. So I will be talking about all the fish I've caught, all the fish I've lost, using what setup, talk about past setups, and then my current setup. So in terms of Ulua, I have just caught one Ulua.
Yep. Holy fuck, man! My man, holy shit, bro, that's a fucking big one!
My first and only Ulua, weighing in at 49 pounds. So, this Ulua I caught on a custom Bushido pole built by my friend Kalpo. This pole is 8'6" and it's 70-30 split. So basically you have, it's like this. You have the butt, right? So this is the butt, the cast, and then you have the pole. So 70-40. It's not this pole, but it is similar or almost same power. They're both PE10s, and on that setup, I was running a Daiwa BG 8000 with 80-pound Power Pro to 150-pound Andy leader line. For the lure, I was using a floating stick bait. I believe it was 100 gram. I don't know what the brand was. I bought it when I was in Okinawa. In terms of the scrap, the fight with Ulua on that custom Bushido, it didn't pull out that much drag. It pulled out a little bit, but it wasn't a freight train. And for the most part, that PE10 stopped that Ulua. When that Ulua hit, it inhaled the lure. The lure was pretty much in its gills. I think that played a huge part in how strong that Ulua could fight. Now, other than my one Ulua, I did get a bunch of omilus. My first omilu came on a 10-foot Penn Torque, medium heavy, and I had a Penn Battle 2 8K, 80-pound Power Pro, and I was also running 150-pound Andy leader line on that one as well. Seeing that it was a medium heavy, I had less control on fighting that omilu. This was what? 2014 is when I caught that was my first fish off of the plug. I think I was plugging for about a year before that, or 2012, I think I started plugging. So on a medium heavy 10-foot, I had less control of the fish. Where I caught it was at the harbor down here at Kamalapao. I was on the jack, so I was up higher. I remember it felt like I was being controlled by the fish, even though I believe it was a 10-pound omilu. Not a monster, but a good fish, but I felt like I was being controlled. So I thought it was an Ulua. And then years later, I got my second omilu. That was on my custom Bushido pole made by my friend. Daiwa BG 8K, 80-pound Power Pro, 150-pound Andy. On the PE10, that was, I believe it was a 19-pound omilu, or 20. Fighting it on PE10, I definitely felt like I had more stopping power. I made its runs, but it didn't last that long, maybe a couple of seconds. I guess the hardest part for me was landing it. My third omilu also came on the Penn Torque. This time I had a 6,000 Penn Clash with 50-pound braid and 80-pound leader. So medium heavy, lighter line, I had no control over that. I felt I was being ragdolled. When you watch the clip, at the very end, all I could do was try and drag the omilu up over the rock. So yeah, medium heavy, definitely a lot less control over the fish. Onto the uluas I lost.
Yeah. Got that. This is pulling really badly.
At that time, I did not have my custom Bushido. I actually broke the tip and my friend was repairing it. I was running 12-foot pen carnage to the heavy power. I could cast a mile, but I got smoked. It was then and there I started like realizing the longer the pole, you have less control over the fish. Even though it was a heavy setup, I had the Daiwa BG 8000, 80-pound braid, 150-pound leader, and smoke. I could not stop the runs, and so I ended up getting reef. I think whatever reason, on one of those fights, I was actually running the Pen Clash 6000. Why I did that, I'm not sure. I think I was experimenting with something, but I don't remember what. That was a mistake. So yeah, I caught a bunch of other fish, some ukus, and I caught some ahas. I hooked up to a mahi. I didn't land that one. With all the setups that I hooked up with, I had Pen Carnage, that's the 12-foot, the Pen Torque, that's a 10-foot, and the custom Bushido, that was the 8'6". So sharing all these stories of what I caught and what I lost with you, the common denominator, I guess you want to say, is that with my longer setups, I struggled more. I lost more fish on the longer setups. I don't believe I lost any fish with the custom Bushido, the 8'6". And simply it's because, again, it comes to the stiffness of the pole when you have a 10-foot compared to a shorter pole like a 8'6" or 8'2" or 7'11". The shorter the pole, you have more control over the fish. So for me, my preference, the pole range I like is between 7'11" and that 8'6". My current setup is this ripple fisher I have right here. This is the 7'11". It's the PE10, and I can throw up to 210 gram lures. And I have it paired up with this beast. This is my Daiwa Saltiga 20,000. It has a 100-pound braid H-strand. I have a 180-pound Varvas shock leader. The whole thing I'm going for is, if in the off chance that I hook a really big Ulua, that I have all the stopping power I need to stop the Ulua. After losing so much fish on my longer setup to the mahi, to those Uluas, and other fish that I don't even know what I hooked up to, my hopes is that I will be able to stop the freight train. I guess for my personal preference, I just want the strongest thing possible. When it comes to the rod, I could have gone the highest PE rating, which was PE12, the final fight. I purposely didn't go for that one because reading up on the final fight and the power fight, this PE10, the PE10 seemed more forgiving as far as throwing a wider range of lures. With a PE12, you have a really stiff pole. With this rod, I can throw the big lures, but if I need be and throw smaller lures, I can without giving up too much of the play of the lure. So that's why I went with the PE10 instead of the PE12. That way I have a wider range of lures I can choose from when it comes to casting. I know I was kind of all over the place with my explanations and setups and fish and all that, but I hope this helped you and answered your questions. If not, then I'm going to reiterate it. My preference for the rod, I like shorter and stronger rod. PE10, 7'11" to 8'6", I would say, is my preference, my comfort range. Reason for that is because I can throw the big lures up to 210 grams, but I can also throw small lures without giving up too much of the action of the lure. Despite having a strong pull, I still have the versatility of throwing a wide range of lures. And then when it comes to the reel, I have this big Daiwa Saltiga 20K. Reasoning is because I caught a 49-pound Ulua on a Daiwa BG 8000, but I also got smoked on a Daiwa BG 8000. Getting this big bad boy, my hopes is to stop the freight train. That's my hopes. And the Saltiga, the Stella was like the two I knew I was gonna try and purchase when it came to powerful reels that could possibly stop a big fish. And I'm just gonna take a second to talk about this reel because this is a gorgeous reel. I've hooked up to 2 fish with this reel, and talking about power, when plugging for Uluas, I have the drag set pretty tight. So the first fish I hooked up on this was an omilu.
Oh! Huh? Omilu?
Yeah, I ripped the lure out of the omilu's mouth. And that's how hard I was boosting. Because again, my main concern is stopping the run. Although this omilu wasn't running, I did not want it to run. Because I had anxiety from that spot that I was just getting smoked. My intent was not to be smoked on that run. With that said, I had a very overpowering setup, and in the end, I ripped the lure out of the fish's mouth. The second one, I don't know what I hooked up to. There was big waves, not much I could do because once I got the fish into near shore, then big wave came in, fish is tumbling, and the hook, it spat the hook. So yeah, if you want a big, badass, gorgeous reel like this Daiwa Saltiga, I will leave a link in the description. So I hope this answered you guys' questions. Honestly, with the technology nowadays, there are so many setups to choose from. My advice, just from my experiences of getting smoked, that's my fear. That has become my anxiety, is all the times I got smoked. Go for the strongest setup you can possibly go for. If you could afford it, higher end Japanese rods, that's what I would lean towards, because this pole is ridiculously light, but really strong. This reel is ridiculously strong. But with that said, I haven't tested its true potential yet because I haven't hooked up onto a big fish yet. But just gotta keep going, trying different things, going new places, and yeah, just keep trying. I made a joke to myself, if I cast 1,000,000 times and I don't even get a chase or a hookup, maybe then it's time to quit. Anyway guys, I do apologize. This has been a lot longer than I expected it to be, but I hope it helped you and answered your questions. I know I can tend to be all over the place. With all of that said, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for watching my videos. Lastly, don't forget to check out Venture Wetsuits. They have a ton of dry fits that dropped. This is my newest one. This is the Boost 'em or Lose 'em. I love the artwork on this, and it embodies what I'm trying to go for as far as plugging, to stop the freight train, boost them or lose them. So yeah, go check them out. Sick artwork. They have a ton that drop. If you do purchase anything, don't forget to use my discount code ToonLife. It'll save you 10% off your entire purchase. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Shoots.